When people see Hardik Pandya today, India star all-rounder, IPL champion, one of the most stylish and confident cricketers on and off the field, they often forget the story that shaped him. They see the tattoos, the Lamborghini, the success, and the fearless smile. But what most don't see are the sacrifices, the hunger, the tears, and the journey that began in a small, modest home in Gujarat. Hardik's story is not just about cricket. It is about dreams born in poverty, nurtured with relentless determination, and carved with unshakable belief. Hardik Pandya was born on October 11, 1993, in Surat, Gujarat, to Himanshu Pandya and Nalini Pandya. His father ran a small car finance business in Surat, a business that offered a decent living but was far from stable. In his early childhood, Hardik's life looked simple and ordinary, like millions of Indian kids. Nobody could have guessed that this child, with mischievous energy in his eyes, would one day grow up to be one of the most explosive cricketers in modern cricket. But life soon tested the Pandya family in ways that would define their destiny. Himanshu Pandya's small business suffered heavy losses. The financial stability that the family once enjoyed was shaken, and the walls of comfort slowly started closing in. It was a make-or-break situation for the Pandya household, a father's sacrifice. Most stories of success begin with a turning point, and in Hardik's case, it was his father's extraordinary sacrifice. Himanshu Pandya could have chosen to rebuild his business, to chase money and security for the family. But instead, he chose something else, the dreams of his children. He noticed that both of his sons, Krunal and Hardik, showed an unusual passion for cricket. Like most Indian fathers, he could have dismissed it as a hobby, but he didn't. He had faith that his children could become something bigger. So, in pursuit of a better environment and coaching for his sons, he took a life-changing decision. He shut down his struggling business in Surat and shifted the entire family to Baroda. It wasn't an easy choice. Baroda didn't offer them comfort or security. What it did offer was opportunity, a better cricket culture, a reputed academy, and a chance for his sons to dream bigger. This single decision, born out of father's faith and sacrifice, became the foundation of the Pandya brothers' journey. Kiranmore Cricket Academy. Once in Baroda, Himanshu enrolled Hardik and Krunal in the Kiranmore Cricket Academy, one of the best places for budding cricketers. Kiranmore, the former Indian wicketkeeper, became a guiding force in the early days. For Hardik, stepping into that academy was like stepping into a new world. The ground, the nets, the coaches, all of it fascinated him. But what fascinated him more was the bat and ball that gave him a purpose. Unlike other children who were often pushed into studies, Hardik found his world in cricket. He had raw talent. He could hit the ball hard, bowl with energy, and field with passion. But talent alone was not enough. He needed discipline. He needed exposure. And above all, he needed survival. Living in poverty. Life in Baroda was not easy. The Pandya family lived in a tiny rented apartment in Goa, Baroda. It was so small that sometimes it felt suffocating. Money was always short. Himanshu, who had given up his business, started working in small jobs just to make ends meet. The family often skipped luxuries that others took for granted. New clothes, fancy meals, or outings were rare. Many times, even getting a proper meal was a challenge. Hardik and Krunal often traveled to the cricket academy in a second-hand car that kept breaking down. There were days when they had to walk long distances because the car wouldn't start. While other children had cricket kits and branded shoes, Hardik often practiced with limited resources. But instead of breaking him, these struggles only made him hungrier. Hardik, the naughty dreamer. Despite the hardships, Hardik was never the one to sulk. Known for his cheeky smile and mischievous nature, he would often entertain his teammates and coaches. He loved to dream big. Even when he had nothing, he believed he could become something. His confidence was not arrogance. It was a survival instinct. When you have nothing to lose, dreaming big becomes natural. He started as a leg spinner, but later switched to fast bowling. He was also a hard-hitting batsman, someone who loved to take risks. From the very beginning, Hardik showed signs of being fearless, a quality that would later define his international career. Dropping out of school, unlike most children, academics never attracted Hardik. He was restless in classrooms, bored of textbooks, and always eager to run to the cricket ground. By the time he reached ninth grade, he made a bold choice. He dropped out of school to focus entirely on cricket. It was a risky decision. In India, where education is often seen as the only path to success, dropping out meant closing doors to a safe future. Relatives mocked him, neighbors criticized him, and people said he would ruin his life. But Hardik and his family knew that his path was different. Education can shape a career, but passion can shape destiny. And Hardik had passion in abundance, hunger and resilience. The journey through his teenage years was marked with hunger, both literal and metaphorical. There were times when Hardik went to practice with an empty stomach because the family couldn't afford proper meals. There were times when he had to wear torn shoes while playing, but he never complained. Hunger became his teacher, and struggle became his companion. He saw his father's sacrifices every day, and that gave him strength. He knew he had to make something of himself, not just for his own dreams, but for his family's dignity. He wanted to pull his parents out of poverty, to prove to every critic that he was born for greatness, the dream that refused to die. By the time Hardik was in his late teens, he had developed into a powerful all-rounder at the local level. People began to notice his raw talent. He was not technically perfect, but he had something that coaches love: fearlessness, aggression, and the hunger to win. He wasn't afraid to hit sixes when others would defend. He wasn't afraid to bowl fast, even if it meant conceding runs. His style was unique, risky, and exciting. Hardik's early struggles in Baroda didn't just teach him how to play cricket. They taught him how to live. They taught him that failure was part of the journey, that criticism was fuel, and that the only way forward was discipline and hard work.